Good afternoon and welcome to the third in the series of interviews that we're conducting here with Destination Chautauqua. I'm Doc Hamels, and we are bringing to you live interviews so that you can get to know the people that are running for political office or have been holding political office and want to rerun, so that you can see them more in depth, so that it's just not a picture in the newspaper or a name on a sign. And hopefully we're going to touch on some topics with these folks as we have in the last two interviews, that are of interest to you, and that we can bring out some of the differences in their style and opinions. So right now I want to welcome John Hemmer, who is the present legislator from District 19. And welcome, John. How are you today?
Thank you, Doc.
And
glad to be here.
Well, glad to have you, and we're glad that you took the time to join us, because I know a lot of people got busy schedules this time of year, and with their campaigns and just life in general, so thank you. So, John, you're in District 19, so let's just pop that up right now so people know what district that is, because a few years ago we had a change in the districts. So basically, it's all of Ripley, and is it all of Westfield?
And all of Westfield.
Does it include any part of Portland or Brockton or anything like that?
No, it doesn't.
All right, so basically it's Ripley and Westfield.
Ripley and Westfield.
All right.
This is an easy one. Some of them
I know.
are cut up and
across the lakes, and over this way and that way.
Yes,
so,
very fortunate.
John, I introduced you as the seated legislator. How long have you held this position now?
This is my 6th year. First elected back in 2011, began in my term in 2012, and been very fortunate to have a great group of people to work with.
So this would be your 4th time running?
Yes.
Wow. And you still like it? You still want to do it?
Yes.
Some people get worn out after the 3rd one or so.
Yes, I know. My predecessor went 10 years, 5 terms.
Oh, so you're just a kid yet in the legislature. Okay.
Right.
Okay. So, John, because you already held the position, I'm going to ask you a question that I didn't ask anyone else today. Can you tell us what it's like to be a legislator? What's the day in the life or a week in the life of a legislator? I mean, I don't think most people realize what you do. Well,
it's pretty simple. We have scheduled during the month monthly committee meetings, usually the 3rd week of the month. I'm the chairman of the Public Facilities Committee. We're usually on Monday. Public Facilities and Administration. Those two committees meet on Monday. Wednesday is Public Safety, Human Services, Planning and Economic Development, and then on Thursday is Audit and Control. A lot of the business, a lot of the discussion on our resolutions takes place in these committee meetings. Usually that's where we have our arguments, if we have them, and that's where we try to come to agreements and establish, more or less what we're going to vote on for the full legislature meeting, and that's always the 4th Wednesday.
So in these subcommittee meetings, you are working on laws, budget, like what?
Yes, resolutions, which include a lot of times when you accept a grant, when the county accepts a grant, we have to pass, the legislature, the full legislature has to pass a resolution in order to accept the grant. Anytime that a new county law is proposed, of course, it has to go through the legislature. This past week, we had budget meetings. Now, those came out of the normal legislature meetings. Every year at budget time, we spend a week going over the budget, and that's one of the big responsibilities of the legislature.
Mm-hmm.
We try to evaluate the budget. I should say the budget is first proposed by the county executive and the department heads, the various department heads.
They bring their needs or their interest, what they want for the following year. Okay.
Yep, and then the proposed budget is formalized, and we get a chance to then look at it and say yes or no, make revisions to the budget, which can include increases or decreases. In general, we don't usually try to chase every budget line.
Yeah.
That's the responsibility of the department heads, and
Mm-hmm.
we do and often ask questions that try to zero in on areas where we feel there may be some room in the budget, and of course if we determine that there's an area of the budget that possibly is not emphasized enough, then we can recommend adding or more money to a specific
So whose
item.
budget is it in the end?
Well, yeah, it's the legislature's budget.
So the county
it's
executive
our responsibility.
presents what he feels should be the expenditure, but you guys are the final decision.
We make the decision in the end.
Okay.
A lot of the recommendations made by the department heads and the county executive are, they go right into the budget.
Right.
We don't try to go down to every last
No
line.
micromanaging, yeah.
Try not to.
Mhm.
It's their responsibility.
That's right.
It's our responsibility.
How would you know what needs to be done?
We don't.
Right. Okay. John, thank you for sharing the day-to-day kinds of things. One of the things that I like to ask people is, tell us about yourself. Who are you, and where do you come from, and what did you do for a living, and all that good stuff. People may not know.
Well, I've lived in Westfield since 1952. My dad was a state policeman. He was stationed in Niagara Falls when I was born, and I started kindergarten in Niagara Falls, and then in 1952 my dad was transferred to the barracks in Westfield. It no longer exists.
I was going to say, where was that?
It was out across the street from the cemetery next to the Schofield home. All right. It was there for a number of years, almost through my high school years.
So you had to be on the straight and narrow with a dad and the state troopers, right?
That was definitely a problem.
We have family members here. They're giving you the thumbs up, so it must be your dad did well.
Yes, he was definitely a great influence. Dad had the absolute right and wrong view. My dad didn't see a lot of gray.
Yeah, my dad was in the military for a while, so I kind of got that same thing.
Okay.
So what did you do after out of high school and stuff?
I went to Alfred Tech, and I have a 2-year degree in electrical technology. I worked for 3 years for a company called Johnson Controls.
Oh, I know. I've heard of them. They work with school systems and that.
Yes,
Yeah.
a lot of the that's their line. They don't do a lot in the residential area.
Right,
That's
right,
commercial. After that, I came back to Westfield and I worked for Reynolds for about 20 years. Got laid off out of Reynolds in one of their cuts, and got a chance to take a civil service exam and went to work for Chautauqua County over in the engineering department, and worked there for the next 18 plus years.
So you have experience on both sides of the aisle, or however you want to table, or whatever you want to say.
I feel that, yes, my experience working with the Department of Public Facilities has helped, gives me a bit of insight into what the actual workings of the department.
All right, super. And so you're retired?
Yes, I retired from the county in 2011.
Okay. And then got another job as a legislator.
Yes, went immediately into the legislature in 2012. And I still have a small grape farm. We have a 17-acre grape farm. My wife and I operate. And that keeps me busy in my spare time.
Okay, well, thank you. I have 6 grapevines. I claim to be the smallest grape farmer in Chautauqua County. And the raccoons got most of it this year. They beat me out there. Buggers. Okay, I want to talk about a few things now from your perspective. So you've been in the seat for 6 years, so you can either claim victory or you can claim defeat, or you can say, oh, we're working on it, whatever. I don't know the answers to these questions. The number one topic that people that I know in these days are talking in the county and basically in the region is the drug problem. So what can we do as a county, John? Or what are you doing?
I believe that we are working on the drug problem. The drug problem, I'm afraid, has no easy answers. It's everything from prescription medication to the street drugs to heroin. I'd love to present a nice, easy answer to it. I think that we need to put the dealers, the illegal dealers, in jail. It's a tough job just to do that, but because they seem to get out almost immediately.
They pay their bail, yeah.
Yeah, and so I don't know, possibly stiffer sentences would be help, but that's not going to cure the problem. And I'm not a psychologist or anything like that, but I just feel as though the people who are affected by that problem are lacking, self-respect. Really, I think that those people just don't respect their own bodies, their own mind, for some reason. We need, in this county, I think, more youth development programs. I think, for instance, the 4-H is a fantastic program for giving young people an opportunity to have some responsibility and to be able to do a job, get it done, and be proud of the accomplishments they've made, and really, I think, build that self-esteem.
Okay, so you as a county legislator can't form an organization similar to 4-H, but you can support funding for those things, or how does that work?
That's what I think. Well, I would like to do. I would like to spend more money on programs of that sort than we currently spend. We do spend a lot of money on incarcerating people, and I wish that it was more productive, but I don't think it's been as productive as we'd like it to be.
Okay, so you're doing prevention with early self-respect development programs,
Yeah.
which I applaud you for. And then you mentioned stiffer sentences, but how can you affect that? How can you make that happen?
As a county legislator, I think that my only effect would be what every citizen has,
Okay. But you can't pass a law to make it stiffer.
No.
That's got to come from the courts or
Yes.
state level or wherever.
No,
I say this because people
advocate for
people want to say, well, what are you doing about the drug problem? Well, there's just so much you can do, right?
Yes.
Okay. How do you mentioned illegal heroin prescription. I keep hearing heroin. Is that the elephant in the room? Is that the problem? Is it right now in Chautauqua County?
I think it's certainly very close to the top of the list. Apparently, it's an inexpensive,
Easy to
currently,
get? Yeah.
and easy to get drug. I don't, it's too bad that it is
Yeah.
so readily available. There's a concerted effort across the country to try to keep drugs out of this country, but again, it doesn't seem to be working. We've got to do something to help people to not go in that route.
Right.
We need good jobs for people, and we need to have some sort of youth development.
Okay. Let me follow up one more time, and then we'll move on. Okay. Here on the not here, but here in this room on my show, we talked about the fact that Chautauqua County was the second highest children being born with opiate addictions. Is there anything, a movement within Chautauqua County government or any programs that you guys are looking at to help stem that at this point? I mean, I know that just came out, so maybe it's pretty fresh. Any thoughts on that right now?
I don't know of a program to stop. It's from the addicted parents. You got to stop you have to stop the addiction to stop babies being born addicted. It's it's a big problem.
Okay.
It's a tremendous problem that all over the world, as far as I've heard, not just in America and in Chautauqua County.
Right. Okay, let's move on. We've covered that pretty well, I think, unless you want to keep talking about it. You mentioned job creation. Again, you're a legislative group, so how do you make more jobs in the county?
We try to encourage business growth and thereby job growth. We try to attract new businesses to the county. We try to support our existing businesses. The attraction of new businesses. A lot of that work goes, through the Industrial Development Agency. Excuse me. And I think they're doing a pretty decent job. We have, the promise of a Phoenix with 900 new jobs coming to Chautauqua County. Fairbanks Farms intends to expand their production 100 more jobs. Cummings has a business expansion also. They're talking about 300 jobs. Dunkirk Specialty Steels, they're going to put in a new bar line. We have 10 sites, 10 shovel-ready sites in Chautauqua County, which we're marketing to attract new businesses to the county.
Great.
And all of these things, hopefully, will increase the number of available jobs.
Okay, so I'm going to push back a little bit again.
Okay.
So as a legislator, how do you encourage, attract, and support existing businesses? So help us understand the bridge. Do you pass laws? Do you do tax credits, pilots, or how's that work?
We support the efforts of the IDA,
Okay.
the Industrial Development
Do they get
Agency.
permission from you guys to do things from the IDA, or?
No,
Okay.
no.
They bounce things off you.
Yes,
Okay, there we go.
but not not necessarily.
You get input.
Yeah,
Okay.
yes. It's it things like the the new golf tournament over at Peak and Peak. We try to support that through. We've done that through our tourist money, the bed tax money. We've used that a number of times to support new tourist, new events and attractions that will bring tourists into the county and bolster local businesses that depend on the tourism
The county
industry.
sponsor was the Grand Fondo. Is that
Yes.
the big bike ride? I think that was the second year for that.
Yes.
Yeah, we have some cyclists in the studio here, so we were talking about that recently. How did that go? Do you know? Was it pretty good?
I believe that it was more successful than last year.
Things grow.
More riders, more money earned for the charity that they're sponsoring, and so it's it's good, and it's just a good way to bring people into Chautauqua County. I feel that the county is just a beautiful place.
Oh gosh, yes.
We have so many wonderful just countryside here, and we have the county park system for the hikers, the county trails, the county the overlook parks that are there for the public, there for tourists. It's all an attraction for tourism.
John, you mentioned 10 shovel-ready sites. I don't know if people know what that means.
Well,
Excuse me.
it's we have everything from basically an open field to a building. We have in both the North County Industrial Park and the South County Industrial Park, we have buildings that we use to we advertise for businesses to start up in them, and so it's and then we have just sites that is cleared land that is has available utilities and is
Water, electricity, sewer, things like that.
Yep, these sites are ready. That's why the term shovel ready is
Just
Just
come on
that.
in, ready to go.
Yep.
In Ripley, there's a site.
Yes, there is.
Do you have much information on that as far as what that's all about?
That's the Ripley site is not. There's no building there.
Right.
But it has infrastructure, and it has some cleared land, and it's available.
Okay, so if a business was looking for those kinds of parameters, certain amount of land, close to the railroads, close to the thruway or whatever, these sites are available for
Yes.
people to come in, and the legislature is supporting that.
Right.
John, we're down about 3 minutes now. You've been in this chair as legislator. What are the challenges for the next couple years that you see for the county?
Well, I do think that we have to work on this drug problem. We need citizens that are productive and are here, and helping the county life, and people that are into drug addiction are not helping us out. We also need to make sure that our investments that we make in the county infrastructure help us out. We have a fine program in the Department of Public Facilities to keep our roads and bridges up to date.
Right.
And we try to spend the amount of money that it's needed to keep them in good repair for the safety of the traveling public, as well as the safety and well-being of our county residents. So there's always challenges when you're trying to split the pie up, the amount of money that we have for taxes.
Just like home.
Yes.
You can only afford so much, and then there's no more left. So drugs, infrastructure, anything else that you see as a challenge on the horizon?
It's there are some, of course, unknown things that we'll have to face as a county legislature, and
you're just prepared.
Yeah, I guess that's it. Try to be prepared. Try to have yourself ready to be able to react to the situations that are necessary.
John, we are down to the last half minute. So, John Hemmer, you are the seated legislator for District 19. Tell the folks why they should vote for you, or whatever you want to tell them right now. This is it. So you can look at the camera, and there you go.
Well, I want to thank you, everyone who's watching this, for watching it. I am, as I said, enjoying being your county legislator. I would very much like to continue to represent the people of Ripley and Westfield, and hopefully I'd like to hear from people. I want to have people bring me questions and suggestions. That helps in my job. It's necessary to know what the people think and want from the legislature.
All right. John Hemmer, thank you for your service. Thank you for your time, and thanks for joining me. Good luck to you. We're going to wrap things up, folks. We want to conclude today. This is our third interview, and we're going to do 4 more next week. So, I'm over here now. Now I'm over here. So anyways, have a good weekend, everybody. I hope this was helpful for you to get a little better look at the candidates and hear what they have to say. We'll see you next time. Next Saturday at noon, we're going to do 4 more interviews. So take care. From Destination Chautauqua, I'm Doc Hamels. Have a nice weekend. Take care.